Hello. Yeah, we come back again. Hi everyone. It's really excited to be in this live event, live IG. Actually, this is my first time. My first time doing live IG. I hope you can. Oh, Pamela is joining. Okay. Okay, I'm so excited about this live IG. We have the Queen now presenting. Will be presenting.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Okay, perfect.
finally. Wow. Yeah, it's okay. Just take it easy. Nothing serious, no formality. It's just you and me and everyone. Take it easy. No,
Okay, perfect.
I know. In the first time when I'm joining, when I preparing this, I just my heart beats so fast because this is my first live IG. I'm not a big fan of live things. I'm usually doing things in the backstage, but
Okay.
mostly handled by IU in the front stage. But for those who are joining, we just still have 1 hour ahead, so take it easy. You just I had introduction about you last on the last live. Another introduction about me as well, and Gumi Bamboo for a little bit. So just
Yeah.
want to do a short introduction about Gumi Bamboo for those just to keep it a bit rolling. So we produce eco products that working with local community, helping them with better livelihood, because previously they work as a stone miners. We know that stone mining working is not really safe. If we see by eye, just it can tell itself. It is, I was really touched when I saw a lady, a mom, bringing her child, breaking the stones. The child is bringing the car, the toy car, and the mom is breaking the stones. You can see when I took the photo. It's naturally happened. At the same time, I was touched. Wow, this is what they do in the daily basis. They produce they generate less than $1 for a day, and that's so low in terms of, that's still below the poverty line. And we try to produce another things that is beneficial for them, also beneficial for the environment. We started as a seller seller of bamboo straws as a contribution for the community, the environment, just to invite young people to just join our campaign and keep on rolling. It just keep on rolling. Now we just don't expect we've gone this far. I think you also on the same shoes when you have started Phinix. How about it? How about this?
I agree.
And it's been like, I started by the end of 2016. You started
2015.
2015, right? Okay. I guess you're ready right now. I just to introduce Phinix.
Okay,
I'm really
sure.
excited.
Okay.
I'm not a fashionable person. I'm sure you are really fashionable about that. You have the stage right now about
Okay.
about your sustainable fashion journey.
Sure. Okay. Can I also say hi to some of my friends who are joining? Hi, Sabat. I will say hi
Salam.
to people who
Selamat.
have been joining us.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, I'd like to reintroduce myself. My name is Pamela Mejia. I am I'm the founder of Phoenix Textile Recycling. So basically, what we do is we collect textile waste textile waste, and we transform them into higher valued products such as shoes and bags. So later,
Yeah.
actually, I can show you some samples later.
Sample.
Yeah.
I've seen your beat for Instagram. Your product looks really really good.
Thank you
We
so much.
know it's a very high. I would say, because I don't I never buy things like that, but it sounds like you have a very good products,
Thank you.
accessories, bags, and shoes.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Mm,
yeah. That
mm,
as we go further,
mm.
we will know more about you. So
Yes.
you feeling good about that? I just
Of
want to move.
course.
I just want to move to the next your next question.
Okay.
Elaborating reason why people should be more ethical and mindful about fashion, considering we have a good case right now. I mean, in Indonesia, we are now in Ramadan month.
Mm,
For those who are um, doing fasting, happy
yeah.
fasting, and I hope
Mm,
you can make it until the end of the month.
yeah.
Where we are showing, yeah, the support from us, and everyone can do it. So
Mm,
by the end of Ramadan month, usually people uh, shop, like buy things,
okay.
but particularly clothes, all accessories, just to celebrate the they are doing great. I don't know. I don't know the common practice behind that, but most of the people are just um, buying things after Ramadan month, especially to celebrate the I would say the triumph. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um,
Mm,
for the fasting. You can also, guys, you can also elaborate maybe why people are buying new stuff in the by the end of the Ramadan month. So
yeah.
I'm sure I'm not a really good describer for that, but that's what I found. Have been doing years by years. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So I will let you answer for that.
Well, I think,
Why
well,
people?
first, like why people should be mindful and ethical, right?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think we can't blame people for doing this. Like it has been the tradition of people in, like, when you do Ramadan and then after that you buy a lot of things. But
Mm-hmm.
also, like, it's the same for people who celebrate Christmas. Like on Christmas Day and the
Yes.
day after
Yes.
Christmas, what we have this what we call Boxing Day. So and everybody buys a lot of things. So it has been part of our society for years. And but now we should be mindful that, especially in the fashion industry, right? The
Yeah.
fashion industry is one of the largest polluter in the world. So I think right now is the right time, especially with the pandemic happening. Like we have to really be mindful of the things that we buy now. So
Yeah.
that's number one. It's really the number one reason is the environmental reason. You know, there's climate
Yeah.
change. Things are really changing. So we have to be more mindful of the things that we actually buy and consume. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the major reason.
And I think we found also a new behavior. I agree with you that we should also shift into new behavior about buying ethically. I
Yeah.
know that to prevent recession, people should consume. I read about it as well, but we can shift into buying more local things and more ethical things.
That's true.
The, yeah, you mentioned earlier about yeah, the importance of being ethical and choosing and to be mindful of what
Yeah.
you're buying.
Yeah.
Mostly people are buying from big brands. Like we don't know how they produce, how they treat their customers. Recently, I had heard that the news that there is an Bangladesh, that a big
In Rana
factory.
Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you heard about that as well.
Yes. And 1,500 people died while making clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, we can reflect to it. That's
This
that.
is yeah. This is actually the inspiration of fashion revolution on why they started it, just to commemorate the 1,500 garment workers who died in Rana Plaza. And this is
Wow.
something as consumers as well that we should reflect about when we buy our clothes. Like we should think about the people who make our clothes as well, you know?
Yeah, sure. Because with our money, we have so much power. We customers have so much power. I don't know where the words come from. I just heard that with with your money, you have so much power to choose what you buy, and
Yeah,
and from what you buy, it's gonna impact to another industry, another people. So yeah,
that's true.
I think we all agree about that. How about you?
Yes. Agree.
Maybe yeah, I'm just gonna come back to the maybe we can move to the 5 tips from you.
Sure. Okay, like when it
Five
comes to
tips. Yeah, 5 tips from you how to be more mindful in fashion
yes, sure.
daily
Okay,
life.
so I actually have 5 tips to share to everybody. In terms of building or practice sustainable fashion in our daily lives. So let's go with number one first. Number one is you have to start actually with yourself. And when I say that, you have to start with your values first. Because practicing sustainable fashion starts with what you believe in. So let's say, for example, I'm the type of person who likes to support brands that have social impact. So I will start with that. Let's say I will start with that. Like I would like to only buy brands that have great social impact. Or you can be maybe the value that you like to consider is you support the earth, or like you like sustainable fabrics like that. So
Mhm.
you have to start with yourself first. It's all about you. What do you actually believe in before you proceed with the sustainable fashion practice in.
Yep.
So it's number one, that's you. Okay. And then
Yep.
the number two practice is you can find it in your house. Just go to your closet. Number two, go to your closet and look at your wardrobe. Okay, so I have this thing like it's actually it gives you a different power when you actually go to your closet and just look at your clothes. Like you have to see which ones are worth keeping, which ones are worth donating. Donate, okay, not throw. Donate. And then my tip is okay, so that's number two, right? Like go to your closet. But just to elaborate further on going to your closet, having like an inventory, which ones to keep, which ones to donate. Maybe I can also say that if you know your values and your personal style, then you'll also know which ones to keep as well. There's another tip regarding this tip, which is maybe you can stick to a color palette. So let's say me, I actually like wearing black as well. So it's easier for you to mix and match things because you stick to a certain color palette. So let's say you like wearing black and pink. So because of this, like you're creating a certain style, and then these are the only colors that you buy. So it prevents you from buying unnecessary colors or unnecessary clothes. Do you get it? You get it?
Yeah. So you create another style out of limited stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you seems like you have a lot of clothes, but you just that's a good trick actually.
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
thought about it. You're
Yeah.
genius.
Okay.
Okay.
And And then
Next.
number three, and this is something I really practice in real life, which is
Yep.
I really like to shop vintage clothes. Like ever since I was young, I love going to vintage shops and I shop vintage clothes. Um for me it's like there's this assurance that no one else in the room will have the same clothes as I do, and it prevents you from there's just instead of you buying something new using new resource, you're actually rebuying an old clothes that has been made before. So technically you are saving carbon footprint because you are using something old. Okay. And well, if you can't shop vintage, if it's not for you, maybe there like a lot of fashion companies now. We have fashion rental companies. If you're familiar, if you guys are familiar with it, so if you can't, if shopping vintage is not for you, then maybe rental is.
Hmm.
And then my fourth tip is know how to mend and repair your clothes. Um, you should always have because there's this practice, especially well, not really in the Western, but a lot of people, let's say when they see holes in their clothes, the next thing they do is actually throw it away, which is
Yeah.
bad. But if you know how to mend and repair your clothes, it will last longer. If you can't do it, maybe just take the initiative and effort to go to your tailor or your neighborhood sewer and ask them to repair it. But it would be really nice if you know how to repair your own clothes. And then
Yeah.
my final tip is if you really have to buy, there's two things you can consider. First is, of course, buy from sustainable brands like, Phinix and Gumi, you know? But also, if you have to buy from fast fashion brands, which it's not that sustainable, but anywhere that you're gonna buy, ask yourself. There's this test that they say the 30 wears, meaning if you look at a certain clothing and if you want to buy it, you should ask yourself, can I wear this 30 times? And if you say yes, then go ahead and buy it. So there's this 30 wears test. Yeah.
Okay. I have a little bit interesting experience regarding to the some last points that you mentioned. That is interesting to me. But last year, Gumi Bamboo conducted swapping event. Are you familiar with that?
Yes,
Yeah,
swapping. Yes.
we were inspired by a lot of people are doing it outside Indonesia and also in Indonesia. But we're gonna bring we wanted to bring that lifestyle habit to the local Lombok people. We just call it in the local language called betukah. Betukah
Okay.
means just to swap, just
Just swap.
to swap. So it was quite succeed. People liked it. I think we've been doing it twice, and it was so anticipated. I'm really happy as a organizer, and yeah, we're so happy at that time. It's just and the second swapping, we combined it with the e-waste, not e-waste necessarily. If you have a phone, mouse, if you want to just swap it, electronic stuff, we just that's harmful for the environment. We know all of them are harmful if not treated well. Considering Indonesia, in Indonesia we don't have really things like that to repair. Repair okay, but when things are where everyone is bored about your camera things that you just want to buy things. How about swap? How about swapping your laptop, your phone, your power bank, things like that. So that's about thrifting and thrifting. We also thrift. I've been thrifting. Next, your point. I just want to highlight that again. Know how to repair your clothes. That's really
Yeah.
interesting because learning new things in this pandemic situation is really encouraged.
I
I mean,
agree.
I mean,
Agree.
sewing.
Mm.
It's not only for women. Come on,
Yeah, that's true.
it's
Agree.
it's men also can do sewing. In the area of Ampenan, we can always see men is Ampenan is one of the regency in Lombok. There is a
Okay.
lot of shoe repairs, have a stand, and tailors, mainly men. So that's really good things. Just bring your clothes there, or just learn new things for online, just online sewing, things like that. So for those who have a financial ability to just buy sewing machines, just why not do it right now? So yeah,
Yeah.
in relation to that, my mom also is a tailor. So
Oh,
I know,
nice.
yeah, I know the feeling that I always have exclusive wardrobe when I come to the school. Uh, my mom always uh, make me one out of out of leftover fabrics.
Fabrics. Nice.
She made it beautifully. Before I
Mm.
wasn't aware it was beautiful, but now it just I was regretted. I taken for granted, but I was proud of my mom. She's still sewing right now. And
Cool, cool.
another last one, buy from sustainable ethical companies like Phinix, like
Gummy.
like I can mention some brands like Freitags. You know Freitags from Switzerland.
Yes, yes. Actually, they are one of my biggest inspirations when I was building Phoenix.
They've been doing it for ages, like 19 before I was born even. Before
Mm,
you
yeah,
born. And
yeah.
Tom shoes. You know Tom
Tom.
shoes.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and a bunch of really yeah, you can do more research. We're not channeling you to buy specific things, but it's good to know. It's good to know about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it about five things, right? Five things. Five
To
tips
practice.
from
Yeah.
family. From Pam about mine
Practicing
about
system.
fashion in daily life. Right. I just want to move to another point.
Okay.
I've seen. I feel that this already getting excited, getting exciting. I hope you too and the viewers too. If
Yeah.
if your friends, viewers, have a question, you can also shoot out from here. In the end of the session, I will read it out for Pamela. Just feel free to shoot out questions and also invite your friends to join this live IG and share the love.
How do you say
So
hello in Indonesia?
halo. Now is sore. Now is afternoon here. Selamat sore.
Okay. Selamat
Selamat sore.
sore.
Ya, selamat sore semua.
Selamat sore.
Yeah. How we do greetings in Tagalog, Philippines.
Tagalog. Magandang hapon.
Bagandang hapon. Hope I
Yeah.
spell it right.
Yeah. Magandang
Yeah.
hapon. Yeah.
I hope also your person who knows you also joining.
How
Not only
topic?
person.
I know. I
Yay!
see a lot of my friends joining in. So I'm like,
Sure. I'm happy for that. And also some of our friends are joining as well. I'm so happy. I take this chance just to have not only for discussing sustainable fashion, just a small reunion, me and you, and
yeah.
yeah. Okay, move to another things.
Okay.
I just want to come back to about your social enterprise, Phoenix. Maybe you can also elaborate what the Phinix means. Phinix sounds
Okay.
like a good name, and what the philosophy behind it, and how you found your social enterprise. I think it can also inspire others.
Okay, sure. So I'm gonna talk about Phoenix. So I started Phoenix in 2015. What I really wanted to find solutions for is textile waste because I noticed in the Philippines, it's either we donate the clothes but we don't know where it goes, or we throw the clothes,
Yep.
or we turn it into rags. So like these are like in the Philippines, from my perspective, these are just the only three things that we can do with textile waste. So I realized I was thinking, okay, what else can we do with this one? So I realized there's no textile recycling center in the Philippines. So my eureka moment was I went in my closet. That's why I urge everybody to go to your closet. And I was checking which clothes I no longer want to get to wear. So what I did was I went inside my closet and I took this old brown dress and I said, because back then I already had a shoe brand. So
Mm.
I went to my shoemakers and I told them, can you turn my brown dress into shoes? So that's where Phoenix started. And
Wow.
so, if you're wondering why I named it Phoenix, if you are a Harry Potter fan, because I am a Harry Potter fan, Dumbledore had a phoenix bird as a pet. So the phoenix bird, it's a mythical creature that dies every 500 years. So it burns itself, then it turns into ashes, and then it gets reborn from the ashes. So that's the whole
Mm.
concept of Phoenix. We turn something old, dead clothes, and we turn it into something new. That's why we call it Phoenix.
Wow.
But if you realize the way I spelled Phoenix is it's PHI instead of PHOENIX. You know the usual?
Yeah.
Because it's made in the Philippines. So that's why it's
Okay.
Phoenix. Did you
Wow.
only find out about this now?
Yes, that's really thoughtful. Actually, I don't know if you mentioned when we have a fellowship back then in 2016.
Yeah.
Now it's just clicking on my mind. So yeah,
Yeah.
and the good things I found also, you mentioned earlier in 2016 that that I think also that was a destiny that you come to Arizona. Arizona capital is also Phoenix.
Phoenix. I know. I feel like it was really meant to be for me to be there. Phoenix and Phoenix. I keep on saying that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's just a destiny for you.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be.
I
So
know. So yeah,
yeah,
okay, I'll talk more about what you do, right?
sure,
And
sure.
then I'll show you guys some samples of our products. So we have two ways on how we upcycle our products. So it's either we cut directly from the fabric or we weave the textile waste. So just to show you an example, for example, last year we did a collection. We call it the kimono collection. So when I lived in Malaysia last almost 2 years ago, I met this Japanese man who was selling old kimonos. So he was just selling cheap price. I was telling myself, we can actually turn this into shoes and bags. So I told the old Japanese guy, if I buy the whole rack, it was like, there's a lot, there's like 100 pieces. If I buy the whole rack, will you give it to me at a cheaper price, a wholesale price? So he did. And so I will show you now our kimono collection. So we made shoes from it. So like for example, this one, if you could see this, this is
Oh,
a sandal from a kimono. So this is a kimono. And
look
then
at
we
that
also
pattern.
have mules that we made into like, so these, if you could see the details, these are still kimonos that we made into mules. So see, it's like this, and that's the Phinix logo right there. It's a bird
Wow.
there, so it's a mule. And then we also turn them into bags like this one. So this is one of our best sellers. We call it Matahari bag. What is Matahari? Because in what is Matahari
It's the
in
sun in Indonesia.
yeah,
Sun.
I call this Matahari bag because it reminds me of the sun. So see, this
Cool.
one is the green one, and then we
That's
also have
really
this
beautiful.
one. Looks really like a kimono. See, these are Japanese pants.
Okay.
So there,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Just to give a little bit out insight about what you're doing with that materials.
Yeah.
Who are the people that are making it? Maybe you can.
Okay, sure. So I'll explain about that as well. So for our more than our environmental. Actually, wait. Before I go into that, I want to explain first another way we upcycle, and then I'll talk about the people who does our product.
Sure.
So another way that we upcycle our fabric. So if you notice, right? So for example, with the shoes, we cut directly from the kimonos, and then we turn them into shoes. But another way that we actually upcycle our products is we cut the clothes into strips, and we weave them to a whole new fabric. So like this one. So this is woven textile waste.
Oh wow.
Like this.
Okay.
So what we do is we turn these woven textile waste into products again. So for example, this woven textile waste was turned into sneakers.
Oh
this.
wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So actually, this is one of our best sellers because the woven textile is very unique, as you can see.
Sure,
Textile,
sure.
that's textile.
I can see the uniqueness.
So I wanted to highlight the difference that this is cut from the fabric and this the woven textile waste, because I wanted to highlight the people who makes our product. So our environmental impact as Phinix is that we want to do textile waste recycling, basically do product life extension. But the people who makes our shoes and bags, our wonderful bags are made by artisans from the Philippines, who have lost it's either they've lost their jobs or their business have really drastically changed because of competition with countries like China. A lot of people already changed their manufacturing to China. So a lot of Filipino artisans, especially shoemakers and bag makers, have lost their jobs. So we partner with these artisans because we want to empower them. Now, I wanted to highlight the textile weaving, okay, because this is very close to my heart. These textile weaving fabrics that you see that I'm holding, all our textile weavers are persons with disability. So all of them, literally all of them. So I met this community of weavers who actually does weaving for persons with disability as therapy. So it's just for them to stimulate their head, their imagination, their creativity. And so I went and visited that community, and then I told myself, what if instead of them just weaving beautiful fabrics like this, why don't we create a product out of it? And instead of using normal yarn, why don't we use textile waste? So that is the social impact of Phinix. We empower artists, and all our weavers are persons with disability. Yes.
Wow. That's really beautiful insight from you. Yeah, I mean, when you, I just want to add something regarding to it. When you buy ethical things, you're not always feeding your desire of buying things, but also empowering others who are the makers of the things. For example, you. community of disabled people,
Yeah.
and also the weavers, which is having a direct benefit to the they are the beneficiaries of your social enterprise, that are keeping your social enterprise going.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important to highlight about that. When you buy things, consider about who is making it, who is where your money gonna go,
Yeah.
instead of buying things from Alibaba,
Yeah.
maybe big companies, some from China. I'm not banning, but I just encourage mind shifting into that direction. So
Yeah.
I think it's good always, and if we always an option. I don't know, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Sure. You have more thing to show. I'm so excited
Ac-
about your product, actually.
me too. I can just elaborate though that these like these mules and these sandals are bestsellers. So
Cool.
yeah, these are really one of my favorites because it's just really it looks very sophisticated and like
Yeah.
you'd never know it was upcycled from textile waste. Like these kimonos, I remember when I was buying these kimonos, the guy was like, "These kimonos haven't been worn for 20 years." So
Hmm.
it's been in a certain box for 20 years, and look now it's a beautiful shoe, and it's also a beautiful bag. Yeah.
Sure. Wow, they are so beautiful, and also you make accessories, right?
Yeah, but that was before we used to make accessories, but now we just focus on shoes and bags.
Cool. Okay, let's see.
Actually, furthermore, Phoenix will actually be. I decided to focus on bags more. So I started with shoes. That's why I'm called the superstar.
I
But
see.
um, now that I live here, I'm based here in London. I noticed that I think the way to go is business. With the business is bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also can understand that you are going. You will have some niche, and you will streamline your business into more bags, or
Yeah.
yep. It's as far as I catch your point. And yeah, I mean that was a good introduction about Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. I think buat just gonna translate to the Indonesian viewers. Buat teman-teman yang mau tanya tentang Pamela, tentang usahanya Pamela, silahkan tanya di kolom komentar. Di akhir sesi bakal ada Q&A, so saya bakal scrolling back pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang udah I hope we can answer all of them. If not, we can just you guys can just shoot out in private message things that you can follow. Either you can follow Gumi Bamboo, you can follow the superstars, you can follow Phoenix. Yay. Yeah, I just want to. I was just a bit afraid about the time. I just feeling of time flies. I'm just gonna move. Is it okay?
I know. Yeah, of course.
So that was about Phoenix. Now we're gonna move about tips for other people who want to start their own sustainable fashion business.
Yes.
How about it? I mean, I'm sure more people are inspired by you after you introducing yourself and Phoenix, and maybe there are some people who want to be like you, who want to have business like yours, who are confused, clueless about how to start. Maybe you can give
Okay.
some
So
tips.
I guess for this one, I'll also just give 5 tips so that it's easy to remember. And this is really like for beginners, like tips for beginners who want to start a sustainable fashion brand? Okay, so tip number one is, and I always say this, whether you're running a sustainable fashion brand or any business in that matter, start with your why. What is your why? Why do you want to build this business? And the way to actually know your why for me is, what is the problem that you want to solve? So that's how you get to know your why. What is this problem that I want to solve? Or like, who are the people that I really want to help? So let's say, for example, on my end, my why was really lessen textile waste, or product life extension for textile waste. So in that case, the way I built Phinix, it's always product life extension for textile waste. That's it. Always give solutions to textile waste. So in whatever we do, you can see that message across all our businesses. Like, it's always about finding solutions for textile waste. So that's my why. And but then my second why also is, I want to help the shoe artisan and the textile weavers. So it's always about that. And then my second tip is, again, I said this a while ago with having a practicing sustainable fashion in your wardrobe. Number two is always about your values. As an entrepreneur, you always go back to what are you really fighting for? What's the cause that you're fighting for? So like, for me, in terms of building a sustainable fashion brand, what I'm fighting for is that the fashion industry is one of the largest polluters in the world. So the value that I really give is that I want to provide solutions for textile waste. So you always go back to yourself as well as an entrepreneur. Always go back to your values, because at the end of the day, when you're an entrepreneur having such a hard time, you go back to yourself. You're like,
Yes.
okay, why am I doing this anyway? What do I believe in? You know?
Yeah.
So I know it doesn't sound very businessy, but you know, as an entrepreneur for such a long time, when the going gets tough, you know, I always go back to these. You know, what are my values? What am I fighting for? What's my why? My third tip is research, 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 research. And I can't stress this enough. You know, a lot of sustainable fashion brands right now, they always some of them tend to do just greenwashing. If you guys are, greenwashing is like people just saying, oh, we're an eco-friendly, blah blah blah, eco. You know, all these eco sustainable, people are using that label so lightly without actually making an impact. You know, so
Yeah.
when you're starting something sustainable, you have to research, because you want to be able to show your customers that you're really doing a sustainable impact, you know? And this is actually for me, you know, the way I actually innovated my products was me researching, for example, right? The weaving the thing, like, what are the ingredients of weaving? It's just thread, right? So the way we innovated in Phinix was, my question was, because I was just researching, I was like, oh, what if we actually instead of using thread, why don't we cut the clothes into strips and then we weave it? So that's how I was able to come up with our product, because I was researching on ways on how else can I, you know, what else can I do with old clothes. So that's what I did. Okay.
Wow.
The fourth tip is, in building your impact, your sustainable fashion brand, you always have to remember this, and some people tend to forget it, is that at the end of the day, you still are a business, and for you to be able to reach your impact, you have to earn money. So my fourth tip is, think of ways of how you will actually be profitable and financially sustainable. Because how else can you help your artisans? How else can you help your weavers if your products are not selling? So you have to always find ways to make money with the products that you're selling, because that's how you reach your impact. And my fifth and final tip for those who are who wants to build a sustainable fashion brand is branding, 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 branding. I can't stress this enough, but you really have to, especially if you are a fashion brand, you have to stand out. Therefore, you have to be very visually appealing. So it's about even picking the right name. That's what, for example, Phinix, right? I thought about that for a long time because it speaks so much of what we do, from the name to the colors that we choose to the logo to the font. Okay, that's just a part of branding, but branding as a whole, what are your like your brand values? What
Yeah.
does your brand believe in? Like if your brand was a person, who is it? So like that. So
Yeah.
branding is very, very important because it really makes you stand out. And as a fashion brand, it makes you visually appealing. So yeah, those are very basic things, but these are just
Yeah.
the top 5 tips when you want to start your sustainable fashion brand. And those are just for beginners. And then, but I guess at whatever stage you're in, these 5 things are something that you always look back to. Your
Hmm.
why, your values, research,
True.
how do I become financially sustainable, and how do I improve my branding? Whatever stage you're in, these top 5 things are things you always have to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Hi,
Tho-
Carol. I'm saying hi to my friends. Hi, Esme.
Yay. Yeah, those 5 things that you always come back for and you always thinking about. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to stress out to the syllable, to the point of fourth. It is
Hi,
when
Aye.
people find that ethical products are more pricey than others,
Mm.
it's also contributes to the community.
Yeah.
It's we when people are buying that, we just want people to be aware about it. Um, you contribute to others. That also makes the business sustainable. When you have um, fair profits
Yeah.
with of your products that feed yourself and also your beneficiary, that
Mm.
makes the company running.
Yeah.
I bet that's why your company has been running for 5 years. Is it 5 years?
Yeah. But it's hard.
It's a long road,
it,
right?
it's a lo- and I have to say, for those who really want to put up their own enterprise,
Yeah,
you won't be earning money all the time. I mean, like, there will be
yes,
days no money
yes,
will come in, and you have to be
sure,
prepared for that. Like,
sure.
honestly, me, I had a day job, like I
Yeah,
had to keep a like, for me to run Phoenix on the side, I
yeah,
still had to do my job on the side so I can pay the bills. It's
yeah.
the life of an entrepreneur. Those are things that you need to do.
Yeah, I call it a passion business, business by passion.
Yeah.
The reason why it's also resonant to myself because I also work for another company part time, and 50% for Gumi Bamboo. That's kept me myself running. With Gumi
Yeah.
Bamboo generates profits, generates can contribute to others, and my business. I'm very lucky in this pandemic. I also still working um, uh, with a company as well. With can support. They know what I'm doing before. They know the company that I'm working on right now. They just want to support me. That's really good. That's a good coincidence. I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah, they're really supportive. So yeah, that was the 5 tips. So
Yes.
I just okay. I just want to highlight there's up and down as well. There are up and down during those 5 years. On
Yeah.
my side, Gumi Bamboo has been facing a lot of up and downs with the community, with the earthquake, with the COVID-19 crisis. I'm sure everyone have problems. I mean, that's how makes us a good entrepreneur. I believe that entrepreneur main skill is having how to survive. When you know
Yeah.
how to survive, you can identify yourself as an entrepreneur. I remember still, I'm a big fan of Bear Grylls. So I just
Mm.
I'm a big fan of Swiss Army Knife. I can just uh, say that entrepreneur is really useful in that particular situation as a Swiss Army knife. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can use everything. You equipped by tools. You can use tools contextually within local context. I think everyone will agree with that.
Yeah.
Is it
Agree.
resonant with you?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
also like with what you say, like I said, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. So
yeah, it's a
because it
choice.
has all these ups and downs.
Yeah,
So for me, like you really have to be prepared and you have to act really fast. Like for example, when this pandemic hit everybody, what's the next best thing that you're supposed to do? Yeah, you always have to be prepared.
talking about pandemic.
Yeah.
Now I just gonna connect to the last discussion point. Considering that you are running a fashion business, ethical fashion business, I would say, uh, I consider that, from my point of view, I consider that it's not an essential
Yeah.
things. Um, how maybe you have tips how for other people it's also can be considered to other people running another kind of business, how you can survive with this. What is
Pandemic.
the next step for you as a ethical
Mm-mm.
sustainable business?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So so before I moved to London, actually, I I did a very hard decision of actually pausing Phoenix for a while because I cannot be in two places at once. So ever since moving here, all the order. So we stopped our retail production and our retail design first. But then we still continued if we had corporate orders, like souvenirs, small pouches, and things like that. But I guess I can share for what my other fashion social enterprises did that I can share to everybody, not just with Phoenix. But like what happened with my fellow fashion social enterprises is that those selling products the same as mine, like bags and shoes, what they did was they actually created masks instead. So everybody shifted to making face masks. And for two things, okay? One, because this is what the world needs right now. The pandemic. No one will really buy bags and shoes.
Yeah.
Two is that's the way to actually keep the business and the community alive. Remember, as social enterprises, we have community partners, and so for them to still, keep doing their jobs, we still have to create something. And if we have to create something essential, it has to be something that the world uses and needs right now, which is a mask. So honestly, if Phoenix was in full production at this moment, we have so much textile waste, right? Like so much textile waste back in Manila. I swear, if I'm back in Manila and not stuck in London, I would go ahead and produce all these face masks that we need right now. But post pandemic, let's say this already dies down. A lot of research says that consumers will actually start buying a lot of like luxury or things that they don't need because the psychological there was a psychological effect in the pandemic that consumers feel that they're deprived of things, right? Because we
Yeah.
can't go out. All our favorite shops are closed. So they say research says that after this pandemic goes down, a lot of people will start buying a lot of things. So again, as a fashion brand, a sustainable fashion brand, you should also be ready to meet
Yep.
that demand of the people, you know? Like
Yep.
you should be ready with your products to start
Yep.
selling with your people. Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
Back
So
to
I guess those are just two things I can share.
adaptability. I just want to mention that strong word. Uh,
Yes.
adapt with the situation.
Mm.
What still in relation on your fashion business? Maybe you can pivot to. It's not a really a strong pivot, but just you uh, you produce another things which is relevant to the situation right now, like
Yeah,
such as
that's
face
true.
mask, such as
Mm. Hi,
uh,
OP.
OP, such as PPE, things like that, personal protective equipment. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Mm. A
those
lot
are
of them
great
also
points.
shifted from face mask to PPE. Yeah, I agree with you. I
And
think
moving
the
to
next best trend, like everyone will have PPEs. Not just the frontliners, but like people like, hey, I have a new PPE. you know?
are you thinking of making a fashionable PPE?
Honestly, no, because we're focusing on accessories only, but mask definitely. Mask.
Yeah, even mask also we have seen a lot of innovations, like a lot of pattern. I mean, people
Yeah.
get really
With the
creative
batik.
about it.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean,
Mm.
when you feel stylish in this pandemic, that's good. It makes you happy, and then it increase your immunity, and then that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. I mean, uh, I'm just gonna further going. There's one person asking.
Yeah, there's a question here, but it's in Indonesian. And also
Yeah,
another question from IU.
yeah. How do I find a question from IU? There is a
IU,
question.
yeah.
There is a question in Indonesian. Limbah tekstil yang dipakai, limbah tekstil dari pabrik atau bekas pakai. I just gonna translate. So
Okay,
your
go.
materials, either is it leftover from garments,
Okay.
leftover from textile, leftover from garments, or just leftover from people.
Okay. So I can answer it and then maybe you can translate it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Phoenix works with two types of textile waste. So we have old clothes donated by people. We have fabric scraps or fabric rolls that factories no longer use. So instead of burning them, they donate it to us.
Mhm,
So we
mhm.
work with two. Oh, or like for example, I guess the kimono is just a special case.
Yep.
I bought the kimonos, but I bought it at a really low price. Technically, it's like it was donated to me, but I of course it's those are just very beautiful vintage kimonos. Like I had to pay.
Yeah, I can see.
But
I
most
can
of the
see you.
time, a lot of people actually just donate clothes to us, or fashion brands donate their old fabrics to us.
Do you
Yeah.
install Dropbox in every point of your
Um,
maybe?
so we don't have drop boxes. They just email Phoenix or
Okay.
contact us, and then they deliver the old clothes to us. We use
Awesome.
Grab. We use Grab,
Yeah, I think
like
it's
our
very
Gojek,
popular over
right?
there. Yes,
Yeah.
delivery
So they
services.
they just donate it to us.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay,
But
thank
we
you for
actually
the
had to
question. Oh,
stop
sorry.
accepting donations because we've been receiving so much donations from the public, and we don't
Mhm.
have place to store. So unless we buy a new warehouse, then we'll start
Yeah,
accepting more. Yeah.
yeah. I hope it will grow more on your side. You can maybe accept some grants that empower that your reward, and also generate more profits, so your
Yes.
company can grow and just rent another place. So thank you for your questions, Kurnia Desianti. I just gonna go through another
Go ahead.
things. I just catch up with the things. So question from IU. Can you tell us about Fabric Collective? No, it's Fibers Collective, IU.
Fibers. Okay, sure.
How you don't know about it? Okay.
Okay, so Fibers is my other social enterprise.
Mhm.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I
I can.
moving?
You're moving.
Okay, because I can't see you.
Yeah,
But
it's
as
okay.
long
Just
as
keep going.
okay, so for Fibers, Fibers actually stands for Fashion Inclusive Businesses for the Environment, Reformation, and Sustainability. So,
Mhm.
Fibers, what we do there is we train aspiring and current fashion social entrepreneurs who want to build a sustainable fashion brand. So,
Pam, we will running out of time in 5 seconds.
oh, okay,
I
that's
would
why.
like I would like to thank everyone.
Okay, sure.
Thank
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.